On April 22nd, Colorado residents showed up en masse at the Capitol building in Denver to give public testimony on Convention of States Action's Article 5 application. Co-founder Michael Ferris also gave expert testimony and answered questions from legislators.
The reason we have this debt is not just because Congress has spent way too much money. It's because the state legislatures, who are effectively in the role of parents in this situation, haven't stopped their kids from using the credit card until they spin us into oblivion. And you have the authority as state legislatures to stop the national debt. And if you don't, you are ultimately even more responsible than your profligate children in Congress doing this. And so,
one of the few opponents who testified against the resolution was a lobbyist with Common Cause, a Soros-funded group. One of the legislators in the committee actually scolded the opponents for using fear-mongering.
I just am not hearing from opponents actual arguments that resonate with me about why to vote no. It feels like fear-mongering. The claims around it could run amok in chaos, that's just way too esoteric. I'm not convinced enough that those are reasons to vote no.
Although the committee ultimately failed to pass the resolution, the Colorado team garnered accolades for its powerful performance.
We had amazing stories, whether they had served in the military, they had run businesses. Many of them have been lifelong members or lifelong people that have lived in Colorado. These aren't just move-ins. And they're here to stand for their state and stand for we the people. You can listen to the entire hearing by visiting conventionofstates.com/COS Live. Just 2 days following that event, another group that has received money from George Soros, the Nonpartisan Center on Media and Democracy, released a new video attacking the COS movement.
A little-known but highly consequential movement is gathering steam.
And right-wing mega-donors want to take America back to a new confederacy of sorts, largely devoid of federal oversight. This vision was chillingly displayed in a recent mock constitutional convention, where proposed amendments included allowing a majority of states to repeal any federal law or regulation they don't like and lock in right-wing control of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wyoming's voice would be just as loud as California's. Scared yet?
Hat tip to Christopher Bedford, an editor with The Blaze. Meanwhile, the movement received support on X with tweets from COS endorsers Congressman Chip Roy and influencers like Jenna Ellis, as well as an advisor to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Convention of States has announced a new coalition, this time for licensed ham radio operators.
What if our communication grid goes down? What if there's political unrest and the government actually intentionally shuts down the towers? Patriots like you and me, we're still going to need a way to communicate, and that's why we're launching the COS Ham Radio Coalition. A few weeks ago, I literally knew nothing about it except for I'd always been interested in getting my ham license. I'm proud to say just a couple of days ago, I got my technician license and I'm on my way into the hobby. conventionofstates.com/ham radio and learn about getting involved today.
Most of us have never heard of Convention of States. That's something in the Constitution of the United States, specifically in the 5th article of the U.S. Constitution. It's kind of the last line of defense.
Correct.
If the government turns tyrannical.
Acclaimed actor, filmmaker, children's book author, and self-described ardent COS supporter Kirk Cameron will be the featured guest on the May episode of COS at Home. Tune in to this month's edition, which airs on May 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern, by visiting conventionofstates.com/at-home. A parental rights bill has successfully been passed by both chambers in Tennessee with the assistance of the local COS team. This victory was achieved in partnership with our friends at Alliance for Defending Freedom. And finally, check out these snapshots from COS events going on around the country, including Texas, California, Wyoming, Maine, and Illinois. And now, you're up to date with the Convention of States.